Hi, everyone. I'm just going to give it a minute while everyone sort of filters through because I can see you all coming in to the session. Thank you. All right, we'll get started. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining today's webinar about Sage Campus. Just a quick bit of housekeeping while we are all waiting for people to kind of filter on and come onto the session. Just please take a moment to check your audio and that you can hear me all right, and that you can see my screen and visuals. And if you're having any issues, please pop them into the chat. Our moderator today is my colleague Amy Sparrow, and she will be help you as best she can if there are any technical challenges that are within our power to control. We will have a Q&A session at the end, but do feel free to ask any questions as they come into your mind as we go along. Please put these into the chat box or the question box. Again, Amy will be monitoring both of these throughout today's session. We will have a full Q&A towards the end of the session, but again, do feel free to put questions in as you think of them. Lastly, today's session is being recorded, so just know that we will be emailing that with you. It will be posted onto our website, onto our blog, along with the links and resources from today's session, and that will happen probably within the next week. So do look out for that, and do feel free to share that with any colleagues who are unable to attend today. So let's get started. Let's start with some quick introductions. So my name is Megan Mazzella, and I am Business Development Manager for Sage Campus in EMEA. And joining me today is our wonderful head of Sage Campus, Rachel Crookes. Rachel leads our editorial vision and content strategy for our courses, and she is very experienced working in e-learning for over 5 years and in publishing for nearly 20 years. Just to go over today's agenda and what we'll be covering. So we'll be going over what is Sage Campus and then looking at the new courses that we will be launching on the Sage Campus platform in July. Then we're going to have a spotlight from Rachel on the new courses, particularly in our topic area of how to get published. We'll take a look at how Sage Campus works for universities. And as I said, we'll have a Q&A and give you some more information about how you can learn more about the courses, try them out for yourselves and for your institution. So to start, just a recap, for those of you who don't know, or those of you who are new to Sage Campus, Sage Campus supports the teaching and learning of skills and research methods through over 250 hours of structured online learning. Our online courses are self-paced and instructor-led, comprising of an engaging mix of trusted Sage quality content, video, interactives, and formative assessments. Our flexible learning pathways cover those trickier topics and skills that learners need to engage with across the lifespan of their academic study and practice and into employment. Freshman year undergraduates learning to navigate information and think critically, through to early career researchers wanting to report their data and get published in a journal. Our user-friendly platform makes it simple for faculty to assign the courses to their students and for students and researchers to learn autonomously, building practical skills for study, research, and the workplace. Here you can see our content pathway, and this is the high-level topics we cover mapped to the lifespan of academic study and practice. One of the key purposes of Sage Campus is to help institutions in improving student outcomes, research outcomes, and employability. So we choose topics and skills that students struggle with, and that faculty find sometimes the most challenging to teach, or perhaps don't have the time, but students still need to have a good working conceptual understanding of, and that universities in our various conversations with them have told us are important to them. So some of the key topics along our content pathway, we have navigating information, where we've got courses in critical thinking and information literacy. We have data literacy, where we have courses to help you getting started with data. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those that are coming more in that theme coming along in July in a short while. We have research skills, which is research planning and reporting our findings, gathering data online, social media data, research questions, presenting your research. And we have data science skills. So collecting and managing and analyzing data, introduction to R, Python, text mining, and data visualization, things like topics like that. And then finally, that kind of capstone and the result of all of that hard academic work over the years, actually getting your research published in a journal. So I'm sure you'll be able to identify programs at your institution where these topics and skills are being taught or required. So hopefully our course map maps nicely to those curricular needs as well. To quickly go over our learning styles, the pedagogy behind Sage Campus supports a wide range of teaching and learning approaches, such as asynchronous learning, blended learning, or the flipped classroom. Courses, as I mentioned, are fully self-paced to fit around busy schedules, but structured to provide a scaffold learning experience. We have an expert instructor at the heart of each course who has helped design the course. They're experts in their field, and they use a lot of real-life practical examples that are directly relevant and applicable to research, especially in a number of our courses to social science research. However, the courses can be quite cross-disciplinary in their approach. Our courses use an engaging mix of screencasts, videos, text, interactives, and practical activities that keep learners engaged. And you'll see a little bit of that later as well. There are also knowledge checks and formative assessments throughout, with an emphasis on practice to reinforce learning and the mastery of the topics, really to embed those skills. Learners also receive a certificate at the end of the course to demonstrate completion, and this really helps to motivate learners. And as always, this is all trusted Sage quality, and our courses are rigorously tested and reviewed for excellence before they're published. So to just dive in a little bit deeper to some of the courses, we'd like to put a spotlight on the new courses coming in July. And they'll be launching at the end of July. And with this launch of new courses, the Sage Campus Suite will grow from 18 that you saw we currently have all the way up to 27, with over 250 hours of online learning available. So where you can see we're adding 2 new courses on research skills, which are research proposal and plan your project. We're introducing 2 new introductory or beginner level data literacy courses, Know Your Numbers and See Numbers in Data. And we've got 5 new courses on getting published, which Rachel will talk about in a little bit. It is important for to researchers that their research gets published in a reputable academic journal. However, navigating the publication process can be difficult and takes considerable time. So these 5 new courses on getting published pull vast evidence from publishers and editors to help researchers navigate the publishing landscape and ultimately get their articles published. These are introductory courses aimed at academics and researchers looking to get published in a journal for the first time, so no prior publication experience is required. However, they also provide new, up-to-date, and helpful guidance for more experienced researchers that are looking to publish research for maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or beyond time. So just to give a little bit of a deep dive on some of those new courses that are launching in June. So we have research proposal, which is our instructor there is Dr. Zena O'Leary. Zena is an international leader of research methods and a Sage author. She's an expert instructor behind two fantastic Sage Campus courses already that we released earlier this year. Those two previous courses are Research Question and Present Your Research. So Research Proposal is Zena's third Sage Campus course and teaches learners how to prepare and craft a winning research proposal through the activities and material in those 5 modules that you can see on your screen. The second course in this theme or topic area is Plan Your Project. Kelly Trivety is the instructor here, and she holds a multifaceted academic career ranging across multiple specialisms. She's an independent academic consultant, a tutor, and coach with advanced HE senior fellow status, specializing in higher education with a key focus on reflective practice, critical thinking, and research projects. This course guides learners through the planning and development stages of a project. This course is specifically helpful for students doing a research degree who are at the beginning of, say, their dissertation project, and really helping to give them the support they need as they enter into that for the first time if they're unfamiliar with doing such large-scale project, academic project. Now, all of our online courses are standalone and have their own learning outcomes, skills that you will gain from taking the courses and how to apply them in your own situations. However, if you are looking to achieve specific objectives, we do have a few handy learner pathways that our instructional designers have advised on. So for instance, this string of courses, with Zena and Kelly's new courses here, we have research question, research proposal, and plan your project, which will give you skills you need to master your research project. So that's quite a handy thing if your learners are wanting to build on skills from previous courses and develop those skills further. Moving on to the data literacy theme and topic area within Sage Campus, as I said, we've got 2 new courses that are being released under this theme in July as well, both by John McInnes. So the first is Know Your Numbers, and John, I should say, is the king of quantitative skills. He helped to develop the Q-STEP program in the United Kingdom and was strategic advisor to the ESRC, and he was also vice president of the Royal Statistical Society. He's already actually published an intermediate level course in the area of data literacy for Sage Campus called Statistical Significance. And his new courses really help to build skills and confidence in working with numbers, especially for those students who may have been away from math in education for a few years. So Know Your Numbers is one of these more introductory courses helping to build up that confidence in statistics. And it really lays the foundation for statistical analysis by boosting understanding with things like handling fractions and decimals. His second course that will be released in July is Scene Numbers and Data. And as with the other one, it's helping to build understanding and competency and confidence in that area of data literacy. And in C Numbers and Data, students and learners will be prepared with the skills and knowledge that they need to really read, interpret, and produce tables and graphs across the 7 modules. As with the other topic, again, these aren't required, but here's another suggested learner pathway to support data literacy that will teach how to handle numbers and data that you can take from that very beginner stage through to the intermediate level. So you'll see the Know Your Numbers and See Numbers in Data, which are coming out in July, lead up quite nicely to Statistical Significance, which is already in the suite of courses on the platform. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Rachel, who is, as I mentioned, our head of Sage Campus, who can tell us more about our 5 new courses on the publishing journey and how they will support students, researchers, and faculty alike. So over to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Megan, and welcome everybody. It's a delight to be here. As Megan said, I'm Rachel Crookes. I'm head of Sage Campus on the editorial side, and I'm going to focus in on the How to Get Published courses. So Sage have long supported early career researchers with their ambitions to get published in journals. Our journals team run training sessions, they run plenty of webinars, and of course we have a really rich author gateway with lots of links, docs and video guides. Sage Campus now offer courses on the same topic, and we offered a more structured learning approach to the topic area. Our courses are full of examples and insights, and we focus on the most common queries that we hear from researchers, new and more experienced. Things like, what are editors looking for? How does peer review really work? And all those difficult, uncertain areas that researchers go through when they're trying to get published in a journal. Next slide, please, Megan. Thank you. So our courses on this topic fall into 2 main areas. The first area is journal publishing landscape. So in this area of topic, we have 4 separate courses. We already have launched our Introduction to Journal Publishing course, which looks at the overall landscape and how different publishing opportunities might present themselves. And then we have a second course on impact and how to consider impact when writing your journal article. The 2 new courses that we have in this area for July are on choosing a journal, which really helps authors make good decisions about which journals to focus on, how journal editors think, what they're looking for their journals, and is packed full of advice from actual editors and academics. And then our second course in this area for July is about how to navigate that path from acceptance through to promotion. So if you've had your paper accepted and peer reviewed, how do you then promote it once it's published, and what are the different ways you can make the most of your publishing? Next slide, please, Megan. Thanks. The second area of the curriculum is really focused on how to write a really good article. We know this is really, really tough. So tough, we've done 2 courses on it. We already have 1 course available, which is about equipping researchers with the skills and strategies to write a really, really compelling article and meet requirements that publishers have and expect. And then our second course, which comes out this summer, is more focused on things like handling supplementary materials. The rules can vary wildly from journal to journal, and it can be really, really challenging to know how to present data and things like that. So that course goes into lots of detail on how to handle all those things. And then we have 2 extra final courses coming this summer, one on submission and final touches, which explains how to maximise your chances of publication, and then a whole course dedicated to peer review. We know that this phase of the review process can be daunting, it can be challenging, receiving feedback is not always easy, and knowing how to actually respond to it is even harder. So we've dedicated a whole course on peer review to help researchers go forward with confidence. Next slide, thank you. So I'm going to show you some of the course features from a typical How to Get Published course. If a learner comes to the dashboard on Sage Campus once they've logged in, they are presented with the dashboard where they will choose the course that they wish to pursue or carry on with. Once on the course homepage, are presented with the different modules. Learners can take the modules in any order they wish, they can take the whole thing, or they can just dip in and out. And then once they click through onto a module, they're presented with the different topics within the module. Again, learners are at liberty to take modules in whatever order they wish, dip in and out, or progress in a linear fashion through the course and through the module. Next slide. The courses are full of video guides, so across the 8 courses we have 24 videos in total. The people that appear in these videos are a mixture of Sage staff who understand the landscape and can give insights and tips, editors of actual real-life journals, and then also academics who have published but do not edit journals, and they give peer-to-peer advice. So we have lots of different angles on the topics so that learners get a really well-rounded insight into the process. Next slide, thank you. Here's an example of one of our interactive pieces of content. So here are some flashcards from the course which covers writing a cover letter. I believe this is how to write an article part 2. So the learners click on the flashcards to reveal the tips, or sometimes we have questions and you click it to reveal the answers. So in this example, we're saying don't just copy your abstract into your cover letter. That is a surefire way to irritate a journal editor. Your cover letter needs to do more than that. And equally, don't use too much jargon or too many acronyms when writing your letter. Your letter needs to be about half a page. It needs to be straightforward and really easy to read. Next slide, please. Here's an example of a see how it's done. So these are peppered throughout the courses, and this is where we give real examples from real journals that learners can emulate and use to inspire them when working on their own examples. We then also have lots of Sage Says boxes where we have quotes from Sage staff and Sage editors or Sage academics who will again give insights and tips. In this example, Jessica Lepowski is giving advice about the methods section and really flagging that that is the most important section in any journal article when it's being desk reviewed, and then probably when it's being peer reviewed too. So these quotes really pull out the kind of impact points for your article and how to make the most of those. Next slide. There's lots of reflective activities in the courses too. Some of the courses have workbooks so that learners can go away and do some really good detailed reflective work to help them make progress. And this is an example of a pause to consider. So we're suggesting you've chosen your journal now, then advising that you go to the website, become familiar with the guidelines, and then look at how you might need to make changes to your word limit, your abstract length, or even your referencing style. So these appear throughout the course as really good points for you to think and go away and apply to your own application. Next slide, please. And finally, I've got an example here of a think it through. So we have self-assessment quizzes that are throughout the courses. In this instance, we're asking what criteria must someone satisfy to be listed as an author on a paper? Sort each contribution into authorship or not authorship. We provide correct answers and we give feedback if you are getting it right or if you're getting it wrong. And this topic is actually a lot trickier than it looks. So authorship is quite tricky to get right first time. So this part of the course is very important to read through, and then there's some trick answers here to make sure that the learning has really been digested. As Megan mentioned, everyone that does the course gets a completion certificate once the course is complete, which is signed by me. I believe that's it for my tour of the courses. If you have questions, obviously, hopefully you'll put them in the chat and I can answer them at the end. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Rachel. That was fantastic to get that detailed overview of that how to get published suite and how it helps to support researchers as they embark on the mysterious process of publishing for the first time. So I just want to cover how implementation of Sage Campus works and how it works at universities. So Sage Campus is a digital resource available as an institutional-wide purchase or subscription. So libraries can either subscribe or purchase Sage Campus for their university. All faculty, students, and researchers at your university would get unlimited access to the full suite of courses via the Sage Campus platform. So all 27 courses, which is over 250 hours of online learning. In terms of how authentication and access work, users need to authenticate via your preferred methods. So we support IP, Easy Proxy, Open Athens, Shibboleth, in order to create an account on Sage Campus. Once they have an account, they'll be able to enroll on courses and track their own learner progress. Faculty also get an extra set of permissions where they can assign courses to students in their class or to whole cohorts or groups of students and track the learner progress of those groups and cohorts. So just a quick use cases that I wanted to flag on how we're seeing institutions and universities using Sage Campus today. As a digital library resource, Sage Campus can be implemented in a number of ways at your institution to support you in improving student outcomes, research outcomes, and employability of students. So here are just a few examples of how institutions are using Sage Campus. One is assigning courses as prerequisite or preparatory material to improve student outcomes. So students come to class on day one with the same level of knowledge and skills they need to succeed. Especially this is true in classes we know where you have students coming in with mixed abilities. Now, the second one is supplementary material for asynchronous, blended, or flipped classroom teaching. Our courses are a place where students can really practice and hone skills that connect to the theory covered in class. And it saves faculty valuable time and can use so that they can use class time on the curricular objectives and go deeper into the subject rather than having to cover the basics in all the topic areas. The third use case we see quite frequently is to help develop research staff, upskilling in the latest data science methods and tools, supporting PhD students and research staff into getting published to increase research output. So it's not just for students. We also see quite a lot of faculty using the courses themselves, either to upskill or refresh their knowledge in particular areas. And finally, the last one, but by no means are these all of the use cases that we see. But the final one I wanted to raise and highlight was expanding face-to-face skills training or drop-in sessions, and really to make them accessible for off-campus students as well. Workshops are often oversubscribed, so Sage Campus can help meet demand and make support available at the point of need, any time of day, any location globally, so that you're not restricted by a particular time or place location. So at this point, I'm going to just pause for questions. If you have any questions for myself or Rachel, just to see if anything's popped through the question box or chat box. Amy?
Hi. Yes, a couple of questions have come through direct from the chat box. So we have one about the data literacy courses and what level of student they're most suited for.
Shall I take that one, Megan?
Yeah, you can take that one.
Great question. I'd say the new ones coming out in the summer are really, really good refresher courses for students, say they could be doing undergraduate or postgraduate, but maybe they didn't do A-level maths. They haven't done maths for a number of years, and they really need to reassess and relearn some basic number skills. So I think it's about the time it's been since they did maths that's the key thing, rather than the level of the learner. But someone who needs to really have confidence going forward, looking at percentages, fractions, if they're going to be looking at any kind of numerical data in a basic way, these are great courses to take to get upskilled.
Great, thank you. And then a question about the research skills courses. So that's research proposal and plan your project. It's saying, is there a particular type of research that they're aimed at, like quantitative, qualitative, or is it across everything?
Again, that is a good question. I would say it is across. I would say on the suite there is probably a slight leaning towards quantitative methods at the moment, and we will be adding some new qualitative focus courses next year. But certainly the examples we give in all of the research planning courses will be from qualitative and quantitative methods. So there's something for everyone in there.
Great, thank you. And then one last question that was touching back onto the getting published courses about, is the content in there teaching you how to get published in a Sage journal, or just journals in general?
Really good question, and I meant to flag this. Absolutely, they cover the full landscape of publishing, so they are not just about publishing in Sage journals, absolutely not. We do give some examples from Sage. How it works at Sage is like this, but we give plenty of examples from other journals and the broader landscape, so it is not just about getting published in our journals, it applies across the whole board.
Great, thank you. And then a sort of follow-up question to this, saying, are the real-life examples in the courses discussion of the publishing landscape, etc., skewed towards the social sciences, or are they cross disciplines?
They're definitely cross-discipline. I can think of at least a couple from health sciences, for example, and some of our featured editors are working on health science journals. So we definitely go beyond the social science.
Sarah's mute. Fantastic. Okay, so that's all the questions that I can see that come through the chat. So thank you very much today, Megan and Rachel. I think, Megan, you've got a couple more slides, or is that it all? I'll pass back over to you now.
Yeah, I've got a couple more slides, but
back over to you.
But if you do have any more questions, please feel free to add more questions. There's still definitely time. I just wanted to quickly give a little bit more information about how you can see more of the courses live yourself, and not just the screenshots that Rachel showed, and get trial access for your institution if you'd like to be able to experience the courses in a bit more detail. So if following today's webinar you are interested in looking at the courses in more detail or requesting an institutional trial, those are two things that we can definitely support. If you're interested, if you're a faculty or individual and you would like to have a look, we'd recommend going to our demo hub. The URL is on the screen now, and you can sign up to get free access to the first module of each of the courses to test out. Amy can jump in here. I know the new courses aren't quite there yet, but they will be coming soon, so do keep watching to see when the new courses get added, or the taster teaser module for each of the courses get added. And then if you would like to have a deeper experience of the platform as a trial, you can request a 30-day trial for institution and for your institution, and we can arrange this via your library, and that will give you full access to all of the courses, all of the content, and all of the functionality. So the faculty user role as well as learner user roles, so that you can create groups, see the reporting, dashboards, and have that full experience for you to assess whether Sage Campus is right for your institution. So if you'd like to find out more and ask about more information about pricing for your institution or setting up a trial, please do let us know in the questions box, or here are the contact details for all of the regional leads in the Sage Campus team. So if you are in EMEA, please do feel free to email me, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation and provide a demo for you. If you are in Asia Pacific, please contact my colleague Catherine Ryan. And if you are in North America or Latin America, please contact my colleague Zara Hills, and we'd be more than happy to help you out and answer any additional questions you have, or provide demos, or set you up with an institutional trial. So do we have any other final questions before we go?
We've got one more. Sam said, okay, the courses are self-paced. If by any chance I have a question about a specific topic, would I be able to reach out for support? How does that work?
Not strictly to us. We don't provide content support on the courses. However, obviously, we'd be very happy to hear from you if there was something that you did really need some advice on. But we don't, as a rule, offer content support for the courses. No.
Yeah, a lot of time the courses are used again by lecturers and professors in their teaching. So typically, because it's supporting learning outcomes within their curriculum, students tend to go to their lecturers first, as they're usually in supplementary in that way. But yes, of course, if there's something specific that we can help with, please do let us know.
Great, and that was the only question, so we can tie it up there. Thank you very much, Rachel, and thank you very much, Megan, for speaking today. And thanks everyone for attending. As Megan said, is it tomorrow they get an email, Megan, with the
Yeah,
follow-up?
you'll get a follow-up email, everybody, tomorrow with some information, and we'll hopefully have all of the recordings of this session on our blog and website from next week.
Great, thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks.